Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and I am back again with another audio message. And this um, is one of those messages which I have been wanting to do for a very long time, but could not. And yeah, so today I'm here. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to my channel if you are visiting my channel for the first time. Okay, so yeah, today I'm going to talk about fear and what can you do to overcome fear. Okay, now I believe that the majority of the people who are visiting my channel are on their spiritual journey, on their spiritual path, having their spiritual awakening, moving through spiritual ascension, right? So in the beginning, of our spiritual awakening, in the beginning stages of our spiritual awakening, we are being called to release a lot of things, especially our fears about a lot of things, right? So in our human experience we have different kinds of fear, and each it is different for everyone. Okay, some of us have fear of being alone, some of us have fear of, let's say, separation, some of us have fear of marriage, some of us have fear of losing finances, some of us have fear of um, living alone, right? So there are different kinds of fears that each one of us have possessed, and if those fears become stronger and get hardened with time, which is what happens usually, is that it becomes karmic. Okay, and then it starts affecting not just one aspect or area of our life, but different aspects of our life starts getting affected by those fears. Okay, now there's always a starting point, a source which gives birth to a fear. Okay, it can be a trauma, it can be a childhood experience. Okay, it can be a fear that a secondary fear which is built up by or you can say a passive fear which has developed by watching someone else go through something, right? Or witnessing someone go through something, or being a part of somebody else's life experience where the other person is going through something and you develop that fear as well. Okay, so and these and don't get me wrong, fears are a part of our human experience, and nobody should be shamed or made to feel small and diminished because you have some fears. Okay, whatever that may be, most of us carry at least the fear of 2 to 3 things in our lives. But what becomes toxic or what starts disrupting our lives is when those fears go out of hand and they go to the extreme spectrum, and then we start losing the balance, the normal balance of our daily lives, right? That's when we have to be conscious, become conscious, and we have to start working on ourselves in order to reduce those fears, and find their root cause, and handle them in a matured way, right? So it does not affect our other aspects of our lives, or it does not affect the people around us, right? So it's also very distressing for other people to witness us being fearful, overtly fearful about something, right? Which is way out of normal. Okay, so yeah, there is no shame or guilt about it. So don't be in denial. Okay, um, try to face your fears head on. The more you face your fears head on, and the more you look directly at your fears, the more courageous you will become. It will build your um, inner strength, it will also build your inner power, and your energy and frequency and vibration will start shifting the moment you start, you know, tackling your fears one by one. This is something that I have noticed in my own life, and I have experienced it in my own life. So yeah, this is coming from experience. Okay, so how do you uh, overcome your fears? The first thing is to accept it. Okay, let's say for example you have a fear of um, let's say traveling alone. Okay, or you have a fear of living alone, whatever it is. Okay, so let's go with the first one. If you have a fear of traveling alone, and if that fear gets out of hand, imagine you won't be able to travel anywhere within the city where you're living in, or within the town that you're living in, and then it blows up. Different kinds of issues starts developing because your movement is getting restricted, and you always want to be around people, you always want to be in a group, you're always looking out for a group where you can stay safe, and you can be around people, so that you don't have to travel alone, right? You're always looking for travel partners, whether it's within the city or whether it's outside the city, outside the state that you are in, right? So your expansion physically is getting limited, and as a result your mental expansion, your emotional growth is also getting limited, because you are restricting yourself to only a certain set of people, and you are always constantly looking for safety. Okay, so you have to understand one thing, that there is no guarantee for anything in this life, okay, that we live. So the more you accept that there is going to be a certain percentage of reality or experience that is always going to be unknown, and that there is nothing to fear about it, we just have to learn how to handle those unknown experiences in a more grounded way. Okay, instead of getting swamped by the situation and feeling helpless and hopeless, we have to learn how to approach situations more directly, more honestly, and more maturely and grounded way. Okay, in a more realistic way, right? There is no point in escaping your fears by indulging in more let's say escapism, right? Or more distraction, or more let's say toxic activities, right? Or toxic connections. It won't help alleviate those fears, right? So it's always better to deal with your fears directly, honestly, and it first starts with self expectance, okay, self acceptance, and then you find the root cause of the fear. When did that fear actually start developing for you? Did it start in your childhood? Did it start with your primary caregivers? If your parents have had that fear and you have watched them experience something, you have adopted that fear? Or is it your parents were the reason that fear got planted within you, in the first place, right? Or you have watched some other family members go through something, or you have other family members inducing some kind of fear in you, right, about something, right? or you have a certain social circle, you have had a certain social circle in your past that have induced a certain kind of fear, or friend circle, or some kind of neighborhood experience, or a cultural or religious experience. Whatever it is for you, find the root cause, write it down, and try to feel the feelings associated with uh, you know the time period when that fear actually developed in you, right? And then start identifying the characters that were there, that in that environment, that you know made things worse for you, right? And that's why as a result you develop that fear. Now if those characters are still present around you, there are chances that you will never be able to overcome that fear, because possibly those characters in your life are still trying to induce that fear within you, whether it is intentionally, or whether it is being done unconsciously. Okay, now if you are still entertaining those characters in your life who have already induced a certain series of fears within you, because they themselves are also living in that fear, what happens is your growth gets limited, as well as when you try to expand, they will try to hold you back, because unconsciously or indirectly they feel like you are unsafe, because you are now going in the opposite direction, which is what we should do. You have to move in the opposite direction of what you usually do when you're trying to cope with a certain fear of something. Okay, you have to do continuously, repeatedly do the opposite of what you have usually done over the years. Okay, over the years, I don't care what your age is, you can still choose to overcome your fears without a doubt. Okay, so forget about what people are saying, because it is about you, it's not about them. Your existence, your life experience is going to change when you learn how to overcome your fears, right? So understand one thing, that fear is false evidence appearing real. In 90, let's say 96% of the time, our ego builds a story about a certain situation, about certain event, or a certain connection, or a certain environment, where whatever it is that was responsible for the fear to develop within us in the first place. We start developing a prejudice for it, we also start developing a certain kind of repulsive um, feeling for it, for that particular person, or that particular kind of experience, or a place, or environment, or a connection, whatever it is, okay, for you. So imagine, so that it's actually, you know and then you start to cope with it, and to cope with it you start indulging in something else. Let's say constant distraction, let's say constant escapism from reality, not tackling the situation, and just letting it fester. Okay, so those kind of coping mechanisms are not helpful in the long run. Okay, it shows up as something else in another part of your life. As I said in the beginning, that if those fears get out of hand, out of control, it will start impacting other aspects of your life, and then you start living a miserable life, right? So why do you want to go that way? Why not deal with your fears directly? So if there are people or characters around you who are watching you go the opposite direction, and you're starting to heal from those fears, and you're stepping forward boldly in your life, and you're making decisions for yourself, choices for yourself independently, and you don't feel afraid anymore, those characters might get uncomfortable around you, and that's quite normal. However, don't let it affect you. Okay, just change the environment, step out of that place, whatever it is, or try to reduce your interaction with those characters as much as possible. Okay, after you find the root cause. Okay, S- you know move into a more secluded place, isolate yourself for a few time, for a few days, or let's say few months, and try to focus on yourself, right? Try to take yourself back into the time period and give that assurance to your inner child that no, that story was not real. It was an illusion that was built up by your ego to keep you safe. Okay, so that you can survive in that moment. And that elusive story which your ego built up for you to keep you safe became a belief, and it became a prejudice, it became a mindset, that is hindering you from becoming a better person or a better version of yourself, right? So why do you want to do that, right? So step out of that elusive story which your mind has built. What is the story that your mind has built which is associated with that fear? Write it down and then reverse it. Okay, reverse it. You can use affirmations, you can use meditations or videos. You can watch videos that will help you alleviate those fears within you, because if you do not tackle those fears within you, you will keep manifesting those fears, the signs of those fears everywhere around you in your physical life. So the more you live in fear, the more you are sending out that signs and signals to the universe, and the universe is responding back to you by showing you more evidences, more physical real life evidences of that illusion, or that story, that false story, that your ego is telling you in order to keep you safe. Okay, there is nothing to be afraid of in this world. Remember, even when you are not praying to God daily, or you're not calling upon the assistance of your upon the assistance of your higher powers, right? The higher powers that watch over us, right? You are still being protected, anyway. But if you give yourself a chance and allow yourself to connect with more and more, if you allow yourself connect with something that is greater than yourself, that's the time when the universe starts taking notice of you and starts to show you signs that whatever fears you have regarding whatever aspect of your life or whatever it is, it's not real, it's not true, it's just a story of your ego to keep you safe. So learn how to differentiate between what is really, what can be really considered as a threat to your emotional safety, to your physical safety, and what is a false story that is built up by your ego. You have to learn how to differentiate between the two to understand what can become a real life threat, or what can put you into emotional danger zone or mental imbalance. You have to first learn how to trust your intuition. Okay, our intuition is our inner guidance system, right? Our inner guidance system which works along with our heart and our gut. Okay, so remember, it's connected with our brain. So all the neural passage that is starts from our brain to our gut is connected with a series of cells, right? And these cells does the job of carrying the information. Okay, so if your gut is telling you something is wrong, immediately the message gets passed on to your brain, right? And then you start processing the information, right? But first you have to teach yourself to learn how to trust the feelings in your gut, right? And that takes time. Remember, just as the fear gets planted within you and it takes time and it gets solidified and hardened over time. Same way, if you want to build a relationship with your intuition, with your heart, it's going to take time, but you have to keep on practicing it so that you can use your intuition to protect yourself from actual you know dangers, right? So yeah, and when you start building that relationship with your gut, when you start understanding how your gut actually sends you signs to warn you about certain things through feelings, okay, it starts with your gut, and then you start getting those feelings, okay. It can come as sudden aha moments, it can come as quite silent hits that you get from your gut, okay. Or let's say you are doing meditation and suddenly you find the answer for a problem, okay. You find the solution to a problem. That is higher guidance that is coming from your heart, okay. So two things which are very important in order to build that connection with your um, inner guidance system is, one is to keep your heart open. Do not block your heart, otherwise you will block the higher guidance that comes through your heart. Number two is to build a relationship with your gut, to understand, stay connected with your body in order to ground yourself and get clear messages from your gut, okay. Your gut has a very strong guidance system and it communicates through feelings, okay. Your heart communicates through silent aha moments, right? But gut is very strong, it communicates through feelings in your body. So notice how you feel in your body in certain situations when you are experiencing certain events, and what is your intuition telling you, what is your gut telling you, right? Just pause and reflect on it, and then also support that information with real life facts, right? Evidences. Make sure that you're balancing it uh, you know in a realistic way, the information that you receive from your intuition, right? In whatever messages the your inner guidance system gives you is information. It's valuable information which may not look practical in the moment, or may not look valid in the moment, but it definitely carries a lot of depth if you see how things play out in the long term. So the more you learn how to trust your intuition, your inner guidance, the more you learn how to trust your heart, the guidance that comes from your heart, you will see that things are playing out for you in a much smoother and in a much more evenly paced than having like sharp ups and downs, right? Most of the cases, and most of the times you will notice, if you are conscious, that things are becoming more easier for you in the long run, right? And that is because you have trusted your intuition and you have taken steps actively to show the universe that you trust your intuition, that you trust yourself, that you trust the guidance that is already coming to you from your higher self, or from your ancestors, from your spirit teams, from your angels, right? So pay attention to the signs that the universe is giving you, pay attention to the messages that are coming from within you, and also the messages which are being given to you, provided to you by your helpers from on the other side, which is your spirit team, right? Entities who are present in the spirit and not in the physical form, but they are guiding you, they are being assigned to guide you, and that includes your ancestors, your angels, your soulmates on the other side, whatever it is. There are a lot of entities, high vibrational entities in the light and in the dark, who are protecting us, right? So make sure that you are staying connected with your inner guidance system and keep pushing the limits when it comes to dealing with situations that make you fearful of something, right? Because the more you live in fear and the more you try to protect yourself from unseen dangers and unseen issues, the more you will you know not be able to expand and live your life to the fullest extent. Okay, in order to live your life more in a realistic way, in a more experiential way, you have to allow yourself to go through the intensity of each and every situations, be it you know you know so that's it for today. And yeah, thank you for being here. And yes, do support the channel.